All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So I'm going to do my best to cover four stocks here. We're going to look at NKLA, Rivian, FFIE, and IDEX, okay? I think Rivian is probably the one I like the most of the bunch, but I think there are a number of reasons to look at the other three as well, okay? Really, in general, there's been a lot of down. This one actually isn't even the worst in all honesty, but you hear me say it often, red, 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 red can turn to green, 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 right? Those are the parabolic movements we look for, right? So that's kind of the play, especially on IDEX and FFIE, if I'm not mistaken, okay? But again, before we go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do today? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to the channel, share this video online with your friends, comment good or bad. Look, I swear anything you can do helps me out so much, especially if you actually share the video, but just giving me your time is beyond appreciated, all right? And then remember, I've got the links to the Discord groups. There's both mine right here and then the new MEM, Making Easy Money group. I'll be honest, again, you know I like doing free stuff, but this I think is worth it. You know what I mean? You're actually getting a bunch of different analyst thoughts. It's kind of cool that I'm one too, I'm not gonna lie, but again, just a bunch of different outlets out there, all right? So let's get into it. And NKLA, all right. I am not a fan of being under the moving averages, all right? You hear me say it all the time, break all 5 and fly, lose all 5 and die, right? And we one by one just start to lose them until we've been now under it for, what is it, almost a month, right? You can see basically right here is when we were officially below it and all we've done is keep going lower, all right? Good things happen over the 8 and the 20, these two lines right here, right? Bad things happen under it, and that's where we're going. And don't forget, all right, I can keep zooming more and more, but this stock knows a lot about being under the 8 and the 20, all right? It had its little good moment, don't get me wrong, but there's been way more bad moments under the 8 and the 20 than these like little ones. And I don't want to say little, right, and being mean in it by any means, right? But yeah, end of the day, it knows how to be under the 8 and the 20. We're back under the 8 and the 20. These are death crosses, right? You like golden crosses when a small one goes above a big one. As the 20 goes under the 100, that's a death cross, right? I'm just seeing them both not only go down, but keep going down, okay? Right now, what's the goal? Look, there are times when you go away from the 8, back to the 8, away from the 8, back to the 8, away from the 8. Hey, maybe there's a reason to believe we come back to the 8 around $1.05, all right? It's not quite... Is it? No, it is. It's more than a 10% move right there. It's actually not a bad double-digit move if it does it, right? But do I believe we're going to break the 8? I don't. I actually have no reason to, all right? Yeah, I see the low RSI number. 20 is pretty low. Generally, 30 is really low, right? But all I'm really seeing is one that goes down a little bit, comes up, kind of stays flat, goes down a little bit, goes flat. I think it's just ready to go back down, in all honesty. I have to believe bad things until the stock gives me a reason to believe otherwise, all right? That's the way that the game works, at least for me, right? So for now, yeah, maybe we're going to come back to the 8. Maybe we're going to come back to the 8. Maybe we're going to do it for a third time, all right? Maybe. If we break the 8, all right, there's reason to believe that we'd come to 135. Again, don't underestimate the power of this wall right here. And then, yeah, it's going to be really hard to get over 135. For sure it is, in my opinion, all right? So I think immediately, though, like I said, there's a lot of green that's kind of ready to go red, all right? I'll draw that's a pretty insignificant one. I guess it's kind of that and the doji, so maybe it's something. And then really, that's kind of the next one. I guess I'll take your bottom. Hopefully your bottom is really the strong point. But there's more reason to believe we're going to kind of go to 75 than at least this 135. I don't even, like, I don't know how I feel about this one. I really don't. I kind of see the MACD wanting to turn maybe. End of the day, it's still in the negative for me, all right? RSI, again, I know it's low, but I don't know. And yeah, I think the only thing I really like is the volume. The last 2 days were at least decent volume days. They were at least both over that 50-day volume, right? But I think I have to give more weight up here. We're under all 5. I have to assume bad things. I do. Really quickly, let me flash the NASDAQ, all right? NASDAQ is pretty much moving parabolic on this 50. We go down, we go up, we go down. You know, I'm hoping we go up soon, don't get me wrong, but yeah, I don't know if we're going to go down a little bit more and then come back, right? Like, I think we're actually kind of moving in this, like, parabolic to horizontal, right? So NASDAQ needs to do well for other things to do well, all right? Just you got to remember that, especially if you're looking at NKLA, right? This is an EV play. This is a tech play, right? So, yeah, I think that's it on the daily. Let's look at the weekly real quick. Again, weekly ain't looking that pretty. All right. The weekly is maybe kind of saying maybe, oops, don't click that. Maybe we want to come to this like 137. I think that was actually the number on the daily, was it not? Yeah, 134, 135, 130 something, right? I think that's I think this is a little bit greedy because I'm telling you, I don't know if 105 is going to break. I think 105 is going to be a pretty hard one. So, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one. But yeah, that's NKLA right there. Rivian. Okay, I think Rivian right now might be the best of the 4, like I said. All right. Oops, sorry, zoomed in too much. The very, very first thing I like is, hey, it's at least above the moving averages, right? It's actually above all 5. All right, it is actually above the 8 and the 20 right now, right? These two, those two things are not sentences NKLA could say yes to. You know what I mean? So just right off the bat, that's at least a better place to be sitting. Okay. Again, let's just zoom out a little bit. Good things do happen over the 8 and the 20. This thing definitely goes under the 8 and 20. I'm just really, really glad I was able to hold the moving averages instead of going under all 5 and dying, right? Like, again, some very, very key differences from NKLA, right? Rivian is now what looks like bouncing on the 200 and trying to get back, right? The thing is, it's this 50. This 50 is holding it, all right? And man, today looked really good. It actually did. I know we were talking about a little bit early on the Discord actually, but man, it's close because look, I see it. Red should have been an easy green, right? I say that often. And between these two lines, this channel right here is nothing but big up. Kind of nothing, big down, should have been a big up, you know what I mean? And hey, someone might have kind of wicked it today, you know what I mean? So I don't want to take away from someone who might have done really well today on it, right? But this thing doesn't look bad. The MACD is actually positive. RSI is actually still diverging. Again, diverging just means nothing more than the two lines are going away from each other. It's a high number, all right? I can't take that away. You know, I get a little worried as the RSI gets to 80. 78's a stone throw away from 80, right? And just one thing to keep in mind, we still haven't had a big volume day. All the volume days have been rather pathetic, all right? Because again, the 50-day average line, this white line, is nothing more than a C if we're doing the ABCD, ABCDF grading scale, right? Like this is the average student in the class. We are 50% worse than the average student. Like we are an F worth of volume. Like this is pathetic, horrible volume, right? So again, there are so many stocks that would love 23 million shares in a day, right? This thing needs to get to 50 something, 53.4 if you look at the number over there, right? just to get a C, just to be the average student in the day. You get what I'm saying? So if we can get one of these kind of days of volume, if we can get even better, if we can get some of this, like break the white line and break and go, some big things can happen, all right? Right now, we need to escape the 50. And I don't know if you saw me click over here. I think that might be the line right there, 24.31. I think you can argue 23.81, but look, I'm gonna draw the line, but I am gonna raise it. Okay, I think looking at this isn't a good one because that's obviously a little bit lower, but we've wicked it, like that's a fake out line, right? Like I think if you raise the expectation a little bit, I think it's that. And as I look at the line, that's a good 50%. Damn, I'm just gonna raise it just a little bit. What's your bottom? I think that's our line, but that's already too close to that. At that point, I'm just gonna look. I think these are still the lines here. I think these are the lines. I think that's a. I know it's 10% you're gonna throw away. I see it, and it kind of sounds like, why would I do that? I think if you can get over that line, it's gonna be a little bit smoother sailing on up from there. All right, so. Let's see what happens. But yeah, like I said, I think Rivian was kind of my favorite going into the 4 of these. All right, where are we on the weekly? Look, we're still in a good place on the weekly. Is there no 100 moving average? Interesting. Okay, look, again, I'm not going to count the candles here, right? But it takes 8 days, in this case 8 weeks, but it takes 8 full candles, 8 weeks to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the 8-day moving average. As it goes, this is the 20th day. Go, this is the 50th day. This red line looks long enough to where I believe the 100 should be forming soon. Again, as I click into this week and and you look into the box over there on my left, your right, maybe, I have no idea. There's only 3 averages right now, right? I think the 100's gonna form soon. If I had to guess, this looks roughly like 100 candles. If I had to guess, regardless, right now we are technically over all 3. Clearly, we're only at a doji. Dojis never count in my book, right? Doing a nice little like. I think this is a really good line. I do. I think a lot weighs on this 25.12, both on the daily and on the weekly. I do. And I'd be really, really interested to see where the 100 forms. Because again, look, I don't know the math here, right? I'm not trying to pretend I'm some like smarter thing than I really am. I'm just some dude, right? But I don't know if the 100's going to come up here, if it's going to come down here, right? Like so far they've all kind of been forming above, right? So I'm kind of assuming it's going to form above and add another natural resistance, right? And probably one that I would weigh a little more heavily than my manually drawn lines, right? But yeah, Rivian. Again, I think those are some pretty good thoughts. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. But yeah, better to be over the moving averages than under. That's at least an easy thing I can say, all right? Okay, let's look at FFIE. Again, kind of echoing a lot of the same things that I was saying on, first off, it's been a while since I've covered this. I really don't even remember the last time I covered this, in all honesty, all right? Bad things happen under all 5 lines, and this was the moment there's a couple things I want to talk about. Let me slow down. This is the moment we lost all 5, right? Boom, 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 and then all it does is go down, and man, it went down hard. There was obviously a 1-to-80 reverse split, but the reverse split does not change the percentage it dropped. All it did is move the decimal a little bit, right? But yeah, this thing basically gave up almost 90%, going from, we'll call it the 20 of today to just above the 2 of today, right? So that's nasty. And that is what I mean when I say lose all 5 and die, all right? Like, it's a pretty rhyme, but it's the real truth. Oh, it didn't do it that long. One thing I thought, there's a little bit of it happening, and I guess it's only on the 4, but look, there's a little bit of going to the 100, going to below all 5, going to the 100, going to the bottom, going above the 100, struggle, and then lose it, right? So not as tight as a horizontal cluster as I normally would like to call them, but Yeah, there were just some really, really interesting things happening here, okay? Why am I looking at FFIE though right now? Look, listen. Red, 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 green, 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 green is a very real thing I believe in, all right? Again, I know it sounds silly. My wife actually loves that. That's probably her favorite catchphrase if you want to know the truth. But there are things we can do here, all right? One of them is just simply go to the 8, all right? What am I doing? From down here at this roughly $4 number all the way up to this roughly $5 number. That's 25% if it hits. And all that there is red, 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 red. There's zero resistance from here to here, all right? Where are we after hours on this? It's going up. I think there's a real reason to believe that this thing's going to want to come. Let's just call it 5. Maybe 440 is a place that stops it. But again, as I zoom out, there's nothing for me to draw because there's just a whole mess of black nothing and a whole mess of red candles that I'm not too scared of, right? It would have sucked when I was up here. That would have made them real scary. But as I'm trying to work my way back up, these are nothing, okay? So from there, again, the red, 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 red pretty much continues all the way here. Listen, I think it's really greedy to have $11 dreams on a sub $4 stock. I think it's healthy to have a $4 to $5 target, all right? So just kind of keep that. But dude, that's a ridiculously low RSI. Again, we've been here before. We've been in the single digits before. It was an 8 on this day, right? I can zoom back and I know we're going to see it again. Like, we've been here. It shouldn't be a surprise that we're down here, okay? That said, it actually knows how to go from down to up. I kind of zoomed out for no reason. It goes from down to up. You know what I mean? So the goal here is let's go from down to, again, I do not believe this is going to come up here. I do not believe this is going to come up here. I barely actually think this is going to come here. I'm assuming when we come to the weekly, get out of here. Oh, I was going to assume that this was a little bit lower and I was going to be able to draw a line somewhere. What's your half? 520. 520, damn, all right. No, I think that's a little high. Yeah, I think it's like something like that. 520, yeah, look at that. I'll draw you as well. Damn. Again, I think 880 is a little aggressive, but I think these are some important. Look at that. That's pretty much on the dot right there. I think these are the lines for FFIE. Again, end of the day, end of today. Don't ignore post. You know, I don't like post market. All right. We are under all 5 moving averages, all right? That's not a good place to be. This is hopefully a good little, what I call a bottom feeder swing, excuse me. You can hopefully swing this back a little bit, but yeah, I still believe it's under all 5 for a reason, and it's probably gonna, you know, kind of stay there, all right? IDEX, let's look at IDEX, and really a lot of the things I just said on FFIE really echo right here, all right? First and foremost, I see the reverse split right here. That does not change the percentage fact from the point right here when it loses all 5 to the point of death that it was basically a couple days ago, right? Like, this thing goes from, let's call it $10 to $2. That is almost a 90% drop. That is a straight up 80% drop, right? So, sorry, my cat's at the door. I gotta let her out. What are you doing? What are you doing? Where's the cat going now? All right. Sorry about that, my people. Okay, so again, it's a pretty little rhyme, right? Break all 5 and fly, lose all 5 and die. That's death right there, okay? What are we looking for? Look. Red, 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 green, 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 green. Okay, that's at least the ultimate goal. One thing we see, and we can see it right here, we fall away from the 8, we come to the 8. We fall away from the 8, we basically come to the 8. We fall away, we're basically at it, okay? With FFIE, I don't know if you fast forwarded to here or not, all right? There's actually a nice little distance between where we're at and the green line. I think IDEX is a little closer, and it makes me more hesitant to get in now and like see what happens. I think it's worth considering it a little bit above it. I'm going to set myself a 254. Let's do 253. 253 alert. I think that's going to be interesting for me. As I zoom out, where are you at? Cool, you're right there. I think that's a line worth, oops, I don't know what you are. I think that's a line worth drawing. Right there, give or take. Again, I'm not looking for perfect, right? That's not bad. And then again, I got the 20 right there. What are you, 50%? Yeah, you're the 20, cool. Okay. For me, I think I would wait for this to break right here and basically go from 250 to rough numbers 325, right? I'm adding a couple quarters to a stock that doesn't have that many quarters in it, right? So I can't do the math in my head really quickly, but yeah, that's not that bad at all. Just it looks like a 30% move if I'm adding 3 quarters on a 23 being whatever. Sorry, trying to do math when I don't need to, but that I think is the move, okay? Do I think we're going to break the 20? No, because let's just don't forget what the stock is. Under the 8 to the 8, under the 8 to the 8, under the 8 to the 8. Gets a little bit over it, gets a little bit over it, back under it, back on. Like, this thing goes under the 8 and the 20 pretty frequently. There are moments over it, moments over it. I'm glad it got to the 100, right? Like, there was some decent time. We were talking a lot about this stock when it was fighting the 100. I stopped talking about it a while ago when the 100 became nothing, right? So, again, just because I don't talk about it doesn't mean the stock's not good, right? Please don't take that as the assumption right there, right? But I have to assume bad things until the stock tells me. I don't think it's worth waiting for the 8 to break. I think it's an interesting play if the 8 breaks, all right? I'll set an alert here. I think it's worth it. Did I already? I think I did. Yes, I did. Cool. Yeah, I actually think that's it. I don't think it's worth looking at the weekly. Yeah, there's nothing much here on the weekly. We're all the way up there, and I think I did. I drew that line right there. Cool. Beautiful. Hey, let me know your thoughts and opinions. Otherwise, as always, thank you.